Alright, last video of the day, let's check out what's going on with Bitcoin. So today I'm going to be trading based on the momentum indicators. Specifically, I'm going to be looking at the EMA ribbons and the squeeze mom, which if you haven't heard of this before is the squeeze momentum indicator, which in my opinion is basically my favorite indicator to measure momentum. A lot of people like using the MACD. I really like these squeeze moms, so we're going to be using this. So basically looking at this on the daily, you can see we've come back down and really perfectly back tested the bottom of this EMA ribbon. So first of all, I'm not 100% convinced that this bottom down here at 43,000 is going to be the bottom in the short term. Now, there's a few reasons for that. We do have a key area of interest down here at 42,500, and also I really don't want to make this a stock market, a dollar video, but basically if we come over to the dollar is having a quick-lived pump in my opinion. Obviously I could be wrong, the dollar could be about to set up an absolute face tear and cause a bear market for crypto, which is what I really don't want to see, but in my opinion I really don't see the dollar ever breaking over 100 again. I think this is going to be such a strong area of resistance, and on my previous videos that I've done in the macro term for the dollar, I have highlighted I do believe this triple top scenario is going to play out. So I mean, I think really worst comes to worst, we could have a quick euphoric rally up to the 100, or maybe even, you know, slightly higher than that before we do absolutely plummet off the table. I really don't see how the dollar is gaining any strength right now, but nonetheless the dollar's pumping. This is causing the stock market, the SPX to dump, which is obviously, I mean, the SPY is the ETF of the SPX, but it's causing the NASDAQ to dump. And obviously the stock market dumping, tech stocks dumping, is causing Bitcoin to dump, which is causing the total crypto market cap to dump, which is causing your altcoins to dump. So that's really my only opinion on that. Nonetheless, like I said, if we look at the daily, I do think there is a potential of us having a quick fake out, potentially to even as low as 42,500, and then coming down to 40,000. Now, I'm not 100% convinced that we would come down to as low as 40,000, but I did just want to highlight, if we do come down to 40,000, let me get rid of that, it's the wrong trend line, we would still be in a, you know, a higher low trajectory, and you could see us coming back down to the 40,000 and this trend line, this being a higher low from here and here and here and here. So this video is really to focus on the macro term. I did just want to highlight, you know, people are freaking out about this move to 43,000. I wouldn't even be freaking out if we came down to 40,000, because don't forget, it was only 2 weeks ago we were sitting at 37,000. It was only 3 weeks ago or so, or coming up to a month now. So basically 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were sitting down here at 34,500, and it was only, well, this was at the towards the end of January, so it was only like 2.5 months ago where we were all the way down here at 33,000. So people really do kind of switch their stances fast on crypto. You know, it does, people move very euphorically if it's going up in a straight line, everyone wants to buy. If it's you know, having a slight correction, everyone thinks it's the end of the world, which is really funny to me. But nonetheless, on the daily, I do see us holding at least around 43,000 today. I don't necessarily think we could be heading down in the short term, but in the more macro term, like in the next week or so, in the next couple of days, like the next 3 or 4 days, I think it is possible for us on the daily to come back down to the EMA, come down to the 42.5, and then quickly have a flush out to 40,000, which in my opinion is my worst case scenario. I really don't see us closing below 40,000 ever again, actually. I could be wrong, obviously I'm not going to be right on every call, but I really just don't see how Bitcoin could come down below 40,000 unless something like World War III is announced. So unless I'm missing something, you can obviously share your opinions down below, but I really just don't see a break below 40,000 ever again, which is really not even far from where we are now. It's not even a 10% move, or, you know, this says it is, but I mean, this is 43,000, or maybe it's just about a 10% move. So a 10% move to the downside is really the max that I see coming right now. I think that's max pain. I don't think we would ever potentially close below 40,000 again, but that is just my opinion. I do think we could be heading down to the downside in the short term, because if we look at what's going on with the 4-hourly EMA ribbons, we have just fired a short signal, and if we come back to basically where we found the bottom down here, You can see we've been back testing the EMA ribbons this whole time, and then we kind of lost the EMA ribbons, and now we're firing a short as the short-term moving average has moved below the long-term moving average. So in the short term, we're having lots of selling volume coming in. The squeeze more momentum indicator is heading to the downside, and I think we could still have a further push to the downside. On the flip side, like I said, the scenario whether this could be the bottom at 43,000 today, I think we could have the potential to move back up to the short-term moving average on the EMA indicator, potentially even pumping up to 45,000 before we do roll down to as low as 40,000 in my opinion. So really, I'm kind of sitting on the sidelines for this one. I don't want to short Bitcoin. I am very one-sided with Bitcoin. I really don't like to short it because I do believe that we are going to bottom somewhere around about, you know, this region around here on Bitcoin. So I really don't think the risk adjusted returns are worth shorting right now. That is just my opinion. You can let me know what you think down below, but that's basically all I see for the BTC USD pair. Now I also will show you the Bitcoin shorts. The Bitcoin shorts are heading up pretty strongly right now, and you know, I mean, it's not the end of the world because, you know, we were all the way up here like 2 weeks ago, and now people are freaking out because we're having a 9% increase in shorts. So I mean, this is always very funny to me. Unless the Bitcoin shorts do break above this region up here where this purple box is at 50,000, then I really don't see any chance of Bitcoin breaking below 40,000 again. So that's really all I see for Bitcoin. In my opinion, the macro momentum to the upside is still very, very much in place. And as far as I can tell, the weekly EMA ribbons haven't flipped red for Bitcoin since we were all the way down here on the 4th of May 2020. So in my opinion, Bitcoin is in a huge macro uptrend, and I understand it's easy to get caught up with the day-to-day price action. You know, you can imagine, I don't know if you guys were in crypto, but I was in crypto all the way down here buying Bitcoin at, you know, $6,000, $7,000. I was also in at $1,000, but I never really got to hold my crypto, unfortunately. That's a story for another day. But nonetheless, you know, people were freaking out over this 26% move to the downside when we were in the bull market. People got freaked out about this 52% move, or 55, almost 56% move to the downside. Nonetheless, we never flipped the EMA weeklies to the red side, and then we proceeded to print a new all-time high. So all in all, I think Bitcoin is extremely macro bullish. I'm really not worried, but in the short term, like I said, the 4 hourly and the daily could be calling for a move back down to 40,000. So I'm currently not trading, I'm currently not longing. If we do come down to 40,000 and have a strong bounce, I probably will be putting in a long, or I will be buying Bitcoin. So that's all I see for Bitcoin. Best of luck if you're in. Once again, none of this is financial advice, it's just my opinion on the market, and you've always got to do what's best for you. Cowboy out. Peace.